already know this already. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Eric from Easy Computer Solution, and it is Saturday Night Tech Talk. Listen, this is gonna be a special night. This one of these nights that I told y'all to get y'all popcorn ready on social media. And I'm gonna tell you, if you got your popcorn ready, button up, because we got some guys on here that man, I've been very impressed. That I didn't even know that in doing YouTube for all this long time that I'm able to do this type of stuff. We got the guys from Substratum. See that? I knew I was gonna mess it up. Developers is in the building, and guys, I told y'all off the air. I said this off the air. I said I was gonna get this wrong because I watch YouTube a lot, and I heard 3 or 4 people say this name messed up so many times. So I said to myself when I got on there, I said, I'm gonna mess it up too. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves to everybody.
Serge, you go first.
All right, I'm Serge. I am a Substratum developer. Go ahead.
All right. Got Serge in the building. All right, here we go.
All right, I'm Nick.
Yeah, work on the system side of stuff. Nick works on the app side of stuff. We work together. I mean, I don't know.
And Nick, you work on the app development part of Substratum, and you work on Serge. You work on the Andromeda part, which is very nice. So y'all kind of
So we kind of like, you know, in our pre-meeting, like it's kind of, we all work on the same thing. It's like they overlap a lot. So me and Nick are working together every day doing stuff, and like, you know. So I work on the app sometimes too. Nick works on the system side sometimes too. He works on Andromeda a little bit too. And so do I. Like, you know, I basically focus on the system side stuff where he focused on the app side stuff. So that's basically the difference of, you know, what we do.
Which is great because I'm gonna tell you that y'all themes is by far this. I mean, y'all got it going on. I tell you what, it's a very smooth platform, especially when, you know, and I've been on your forums, on your Telegram groups actually. And people ask a ton of questions, I mean, all day questions. I don't know how y'all deal with it as far as trying to answer all those questions, but
I know.
You know, in Telegram, especially when, you know, y'all got such a big following on Telegram that, you know, that's, you know, rhyming and theming and all kinds of stuff like that. They come across your platform, and some of them know how to do it, and some of them don't. But they all hit the platform, and they always ask you the question: what is one of the biggest questions y'all all get in these Telegram groups and Google Plus?
Well, I'd say the question that I've seen the most is sometimes there'll be some random app like let's say WhatsApp that doesn't get themed right, and so they'll say, hey, why is this white when it should be black, or something random like that. It's never actually anything big. I mean, I don't deal with the support side as much as Nick does, so he probably knows more about that.
Nick, so you work on that app side too. What the most questions you always get there?
I feel like it's the forced closes because you know, all these overlays targeting like every single application for you know, your phone, right? So let's say Messenger or Snapchat like gets an update, and you have an overlay on it. People will be like, why is it crashing all of a sudden, you know? And they don't realize that they upgraded it like in the background, right? So that's the most questions that get asked, and then we start like adding like stuff that like pulsates in front of the user to tell them that, yeah, this is the problem. You should like automatically like unload your overlay, which is, you know, it's getting there, but we still get a lot of these questions because
but for the most part, they're a great group of guys, though. The people that come and, like, you know, ask us questions, like, they don't ever say anything too bad. Sometimes you have those outliers who will make a big deal out of nothing, but for the most part, they're really awesome.
But, you know, I think what happens a lot when people don't really redefine print, they'll you know, put all these apps and, you know, rooted devices and put all these overlays on top of their devices. But sometimes they don't know what they're doing. You know, they don't know how to clean their cache, or they just get in there to destroy all these themes on top of it. And now you got problems with Android. Or you got some people that get, you know, 2013 devices that's running like, you know, God, an old operating system, Android 5.0 or something. And they're trying to put all this stuff on there, and now they got problems. So What do you recommend as far as, I know it's 2017, most devices should be running either Android 6.0 or Android 7 or even Android 8. What would you tell anybody that's running a phone that want to run pure smooth without any issues, that's running y'all platform?
I think, you know, most of the phones that work with our platform are the ones that are closer to Android stock. So, you know, OnePlus, you know, Huawei, well, it's somewhat Huawei, and, you know, all the Nexus and Pixel phones. So they all work with our platform, but, you know, things like, you know, Xiaomi and Samsung, we have, you know, certain different add-ons for Samsung, but those aren't the ones we would recommend, like, for sure, because, you know, their framework changes so much and causes many issues down the line.
So when you're talking about like stock Android, closer to stock, you talk about Pixel devices, we talk about OnePlus, like you said, and you talk about stock, like what did you have any problem with the Motorola devices, like the because that's more stock Android, also the Motorola Z Plays and the Motorola Gs and stuff like that. Y'all don't have any those issues with those. Now, when it come down to processors and stuff like that, see, people always get this all messed up about, oh, I got a 200 series processor. Why is it so laggy? Why is it so buggy? What is the problem? And they flood y'all with these type of comments of force closing and stuff like that. So I know y'all get bombarded with that, but you got an awesome platform. And I seen that y'all are working on, and I don't know if it's out yet, and I kind of want to pick your brain surge a little bit because you're on that Andromeda side. Let us know what you got, what's coming up new with Oreo that you got up your sleeve that you want to kind of announce today a little bit to folks. Hey, look at that!
Yeah.
Nice.
It kind of came in the middle of the broadcast. I had no idea what was going on. So her name's Friday. She's a big girl.
Friday. What's up? Well, Friday is bigger than you.
Yeah, no, she's a big dog. She's a big Andromeda, we have some stuff going on with O that we're going to introduce pretty soon here. We're trying to make it so that, you know, so right now it's kind of complicated where you have to hook it up to the PC for it to work every time. We're trying to go away from that, but, you know, there's obviously a lot of problems with getting that going right away. So, you know, we're working out the kinks, but we have something coming up that should be pretty big.
Yeah, that'll work. You know what? I'll tell you what, with all this stuff, you know, that's going on, you know, with the Pixel and the screens and new iPhone, this iPhone week and all this stuff. I mean, the future of Android. I mean, with the fragmentation problems and, you know, everybody got these different operating systems and people getting upset. People don't understand what's going on. Y'all got to be kind of pulling y'all hair out with all this fragmentation and stuff going on.
All the time. It's so complicated. You have the Samsung platform, you have the Pixels, you have people who are using non-support devices asking for support. It's so complicated to support everything at once. And so what used to happen was we used to be able to do everything like right away. We'd have like, you know, our updates come out all the time. But once you have to support like 8 different platforms, it all gets fragmented, way complicated. You know what I mean? Like, you know. Yeah. This kind of started with the O cycle where we didn't, like, we call it cycles, by the way, like, you know, where we didn't really realize how much stuff we had going on at once. So, I mean, we're a little bit slower to push out some changes, but like, you know, it does get fragmented and it does get complicated.
Yeah. And especially on the app side, right? I mean, with this you got people that have older apps and all of a sudden they don't update their devices, you know, and all of a sudden now you downloading y'all new platform. You got everybody want Oreo. Everybody want Oreo. So now since you got Oreo, now you got these issues and problems. And so I think one of the things that I think people need to do is just kind of, y'all leave a lot of detailed stuff too. Like, you know, I don't think people read, they just look at that link. That's all they want is that link. And I think what happens is they get the link and they just download the link and they got their phone there and all of a sudden, you know, they looking at that 2013 phone that just all of a sudden is not working right. So I know y'all have to definitely deal with that type of stuff. But it's great that y'all working very hard to try to get y'all platform out there. I think it's one of the best XDA developers. You know, I'm gonna tell you, I live on XDA developers. I mean, look, I got a Nexus 6. You know, I got Nexus. I got Nexus devices. I mean, I got phones. I'm a phone holder, by the way, and I got devices everywhere. And I like to tinker around with my Nexus 6 a lot. You know what I'm saying? And that's, God, one of the best devices to tinker around with is the Nexus 6.
I mean, it's a little big, but I mean, you know,
yeah, you know, we're kind of going away from that type of stuff, but
that overall build is really quality. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, as we go into to 2018, and we getting into Oreo, and I don't know what Google will come up with next. But you seen it. I'm starting to see a shift in Android. I don't know whether that is a good thing or a bad thing, because now I thought we was going to get things caught up. I mean, devices right now just going to 7.0, and we got Oreo that's been out for maybe a month or two right now, right? So now what's going to happen in 2018 when these devices come out? And this happened in 2017, by the way. We had devices that came out with Android 6.0. Is it the same thing, that kind of crap going to happen in 2018 when we get phones that come out in January at the CES with Android 7.0 and they go promise us Android 8? I mean, y'all guys got to be going through a lot of hell over this type of stuff when it comes down to theming and rhyming and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nick goes through more than me. Nick just the other day, he like rewrote entire subs out of nowhere. He made a bunch of changes. And I was like, Nick, are you kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? Because like it was like the entire app changed in one day. Like, you know, you have to do stuff like this every time something new happens. Like, let's say, you know, like when N came out, Nick did the same thing. When O came out, Nick did the same thing. You know, just like the entire app out of nowhere. And like, oh. He's like, guys, you're gonna have to relearn the entire app.
Good luck.
yeah, that's basically what he said too. He's like, have fun.
So Nick, what is it about? You got to change the whole structure of the code. What is it that you got to do once you start digging deep into making some changes with your platform?
So when like new APIs are more available, we shift to them, and we also clean up the code so that more people and contributors can start like forking it and you know, putting some commits in to our repository. But the thing is, what I want to do is, you know, work with like legacy devices like the Nexus 5, which is like, you know, 2013 device, and make it run faster, right? And also some Samsung devices with like completely heavy skins, you know, they have like a lot of lag, right? So I wanted to optimize all of that out, and you know, makes a better experience for our users.
Right, and that's one of the things that a lot of people always clown Android about, right? Because of lag. That's the #1 word, right? Oh my God, this is buggy, it's laggy, it's force closes and stuff like that. And you know, I think what a lot of people, you know, fail to realize is that the way technology changed. I mean, a lot of people it's rocking old devices, 2013, 2014 phones. And they try to make them, you know, make themselves believe that those phones could be updated and upgraded to make them faster, perform better. And unfortunately, technology has passed that point.
Right. Right. So like, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm done. Go ahead. Say.
See, the problem is like with every like Android update, there's like limitations. Like for example, with like, I forget if it was Lollipop or Nougat, where there was a 512 megabyte minimum RAM requirement stuff. So all these devices that are old, they get updated by the community, but like a lot of times they can't handle what they should be running. Like, you know what I mean? Like the community will make a ROM that makes it work on a newer Android level, but in reality, it's not really able to use the new features because it's, you know, it's obsolete. It's using less RAM. It doesn't have as much, you know, CPU power to handle what it's, you know, being given. So like,
well, I think OnePlus is fixing that with 8 gigs of RAM, don't you think?
Oh yeah, wow, I know, right? I wouldn't mind that. I don't have a OnePlus device. I would not mind having that much RAM at all. But yeah.
Oh, so we just got another device with 8 gigs of RAM in it, right? I mean, did we get? Oh God, we just had a keynote address. The Razer phone, right? So we. Razer phone with the 835 processor, 8 gigs of RAM in it. It's running 120 hertz refresh rate on this thing. This thing's supposed to be a King Supreme. And I tell you, y'all developers, y'all look at that phone like, oh my God, that's like a dream come true, because not only you got the horsepower, now you got the RAM. And you got that refresh rate plus at a good price. I mean, $699 not a bad price. So I think overall that is a pretty good price. It is cheaper than cheaper than a Pixel. So at this point, man, I was impressed. I'm impressed at the new phone, but a lot of people leaving comments, and I'm seeing the comments. 8 gigs of RAM is overkill, not to developers, right? 8 gigs of RAM is not overkill for y'all.
I mean, I have a OnePlus 5 right here. I don't really use it to develop because usually when you're a developer, you would want to optimize your code, right? So if you're being spoiled by all the 8 gigs of RAM, you'd be like, you know what? If you toss it onto like a 6 gig of RAM device, it would start lagging. And then you're like, oh, your code is actually not that good. So you kind of like force and torture yourself by like, you know, going down and down and down, going down to the 512 megs of RAM devices. Like that day, I had someone come up to me and say, yo, your app's not working on my Galaxy S2. I'm like, what Galaxy S2?
This happens so often, it's ridiculous. I mean, like, you know, obviously we try to help them, but like, you know, there's only so much you can do when it's a Galaxy.
So, I mean, are we seeing that 6 and 8 gigs of RAM in our future? I mean, because I mean, let's put this in perspective here. When I see 8 gigs of RAM, I mean, Android itself is not even utilizing that much RAM, right? I mean, it's right now it don't make any sense, right? I mean, just from a developer's perspective, when you see a phone with 8 gigs of RAM on it, yeah, it's nice, but it's only for, you know, as far as marketing, right? I mean, at this point.
In my opinion, what happened was there was a race to, you know, like, you know how Apple does this every year. They try to, you know, just one up their specs by a little bit. What happened was OnePlus, you know, decided, hey, we're going to put as much RAM as we can pack in this phone. But like really, Android does not use that much RAM. It's not even capable of accessing, you know, the other half of that RAM. Because, you know, the way that memory management works on Android isn't like that. You know, it's not like we have 8 gigs of RAM. We're going to use all of that right away. Like, you know, it has this like memory killer process where it kills, you know, the apps are using a lot of memory at once and like, you know, stuff like that. So it's not actually using that much, but I think in the future they will be able to use that. I don't think, I mean, I see the potential for, you know, releasing a device with that much RAM right now because that means it'll be future proof for a while, right? I mean, we'll be able to, you know, put a lot of OSs on that, a lot of updates, but like, you know, right now it's not really used by anything. Like, for example, when we're using memory, we probably use, you know, nowhere near, like, you know, when we're looking at memory management, you know, it's like when we debug subs, we don't ever see that kind of memory usage ever. Like, we're not ever seeing 7.68, you know, gigabytes. You don't see that, you know. It's like, there's no time you ever see that yet.
So to put this in perspective, and a lot of people do say this. They say, I got a OnePlus, it's future-proof. But in the next 6 months, I'm going to be running out to get the OnePlus 5T. That means the phone that I have is not future-proof because I'm about to either sell it or get rid of it and get the next iteration of that device. So when you know, and don't get me wrong, I would say it'd be future-proof, but for us techies, it's not future-proof, right? Because we're not going to hold on to it for no more than 6 months.
Well, you have guys like Nick over here who gets every single device the day it comes out. The most impatient guy I've seen, by the way. And there's people like me, like I'm using my 6P right now, and I have a Pixel 2. I haven't even opened it out of the box. It's just sitting around. So like, you know, it depends like on the person, I guess. I don't think it's like it depends. I think most of the community we see, they're usually trying to get the most up-to-date device. But like, I mean, then there's the other half of the community that we use, you know, like the Nexus 5 for like 5 years. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm still using my Nexus 5.
So what is again the most easiest devices to theme and ROM and stuff is more your stock Android Pixels, stuff that's got open, you know, good access to bootloaders and stuff like that, because I mean obviously some OEMs, and when they get to the carriers and everything, they don't like you tinkering around with their stuff. They don't want you to tinker. They take no. They put up the red. No, you cannot mess with this bootloader. Is locked. You can't get through it. I'm not giving you the access code, the source code. You ain't getting none of that. Y'all, you know, is that getting better? Because I know Samsung right now, right? I mean, it's still the Note 8 source code is not out, right?
We actually have, okay, so Samsung usually closes their source code for the TouchWiz platform, but the whole kernel business, you got to open source that so people can start building ROMs and, you know, custom firmware. But, you know, when we're adapting our like themes to Samsung, I'm glad they actually didn't lock it down like Razer did, actually, because Razer, you know,
they locked it down.
They locked it down because, you know, we know a couple of the devs part of Razer, right? So they looked into our code and they said, okay, yeah, there's a potential that we might need to keep the system signed themes only, so you can't download themes from the webs to maintain stability, right? So, you know, the OEMs like Razer might be able to do it because they're more engaged with the community, but you know, people like Samsung people usually it's like some people mess around with some overlays like on the side in XDA, but it was never to this point where, you know, you realize that, oh, Substratum is now available for like Samsung. Now probably Samsung will catch on and they'll be like, you know what, we probably do not want all of these crash reports from like random themes, right? So they may lock it down, but I would doubt it because they didn't lock it down since 7.0, 7.1.1, and it's available on S8 and Note 8, as well as S7 and, you know, all the NuGet ports for, you know, S6 and S5. So I would suggest like, sticking with Pixel, because Pixel, you know, they keep it like completely open source, most of it at least. And for OMS, like they keep it so that it's more like widely usable for, you know, the developers and users alike.
But the thing about it is, and I hear this, people all upset and pissed off at the Pixel costs $1,000 and all this stuff, and why we got this blue tint on the screen, we got all this burn in and all this stuff, and Pixel. I'm looking at the Pixel as more of a developer's phone, right? I mean, that's the way it was back in the day with the Nexus devices, and now we got the Pixel devices. And I think like Google is trying to get the Pixel into people's hands, more of a average consumer, right? The average consumer. Is that that's opening the doors for kind of a mess for Google as far as the development community that's trying to develop for Android, and then now you got you know, Android now trying to get these Pixels out to the average consumer at an $800, $900 price point. I mean, what y'all thoughts about this?
Serge?
I don't know. Well, see, I think the Pixel device, you know, like for me, it's not really you said it was basically a developer's phone earlier. For me, it's more like every person's phone now. You see Google marketing these days. They're doing the Apple type of promotion where they show it, you know, like you're seeing the commercials are basically kind of like a clone of what Apple would do. I mean, Google has their own take on that, but to me, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on this. I don't know. Like I still haven't made up my mind, but I mean, I didn't get the original Pixel or the Pixel XL, but I did get the Pixel XL2 because, you know, the 6P was my last device. And when you're a developer, you have to stay up to date. So you have to obviously get, you know, the latest device to work on. And so, you know, that I don't know. I'm kind of torn on my thoughts about that. I don't know. What do you think, Vic?
I think the Pixel, you would compare it to, I guess you can say you can compare it to the iPhone of Android, but like it's really debatable because you know, Pixel is more geared to like both developers and users, because you also get the opportunity to test like new software, and compared to, you know, iPhone, where you gotta enroll your device into like this developer thing,
yeah,
and like you have to pay $99, or you hitch along the ride with someone else who paid it already. The whole idea of like Pixel is to get your app up working perfectly fine, and it's pretty like featureless. You know, like when you get a Pixel, you basically get nothing in the box, and
yeah.
not even like a headphone. You know, seriously, and. You know, even after the iPhone 10 was released a few days ago, they even properly announced that the AMOLED on the iPhone 10, like Apple announced this, they'll shift colors. And I'm like, well, it's exactly like the Pixel then.
Yeah.
So it's like really comparable, right? But I mean, you know, you get an iPhone, there's no other option, right? But with Android, you can get like Pixel, you can get Samsung, but like usually developers don't like Samsung because it's much more locked down. You can't really run as root. Like even if you wanted to like compile your own firmware, you can't. And
there's no way to test anything on Samsung is the problem, pretty much, because
exactly.
Yeah, you're dealing with a stock device that someone happens to gain root on. Then, you know, the problem is once somebody gains root, the first thing they ask is, hey, when are the themes coming? You know, and you get that question, all of a sudden it becomes our responsibility to do that. Like, if they gain it, it's okay. We're happy to help and whatnot. But, like, you know, it's not the easiest thing to do on a Samsung device because, like Nick was saying earlier, that it's really a locked down platform.
Right. So I'm reading. Shouts out to everybody that's joining the stream. I want to give a shout out to Cafe Alex in the building. Sean is in the building. TM Warthen is in the building. Catwoman is in the building. Meow. What's up with your Catwoman? Scrumptious in the building. People asking about the butterfly phone. Can you develop and remove the crease in the middle of the ZTE X on M? Now, I know a lot of people have been kind of clowning that device. What are y'all thoughts about the foldable phone that ZTE just came out with, the X on M?
Gonna be honest, I don't really know about this device. Like Nick, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, it was a foldable phone, right? So, I mean, I guess it's like Samsung's that new you know, that thing. You're just like, why, you know?
But ZTE said that this is the future, right? I mean, they give you an 821 processor, an old processor. They give you old cameras, you know, 2016 cameras, and they only go give you one camera, by the way. But this is that butterfly phone. We've been calling it the butterfly phone.
Once I hear a device, I'm 835 or 830. You know, I'm I'm basically doing that old gen. You know, like because what we deal with now, like you know, especially with like you know how devices are now shipping with a 4-point plus kernel. So I mean, I know the old platforms can't handle that, but I have no idea about this butterfly thing. I think I'm waiting it out, honestly, because I have no idea if that's going to stick, carry on. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's.
I mean, you got to wait for the now. When Samsung is rumored to have their foldable phone that comes out, hopefully the Galaxy Note 9, right? We've been hearing rumors that Samsung is going to do it for real. Not no hinge in the middle and not no separation. The two phones kind of sorted together as one. I think Samsung will do it. I thought that Motorola was going to come out with something because they've been talking about it for a while, but it just haven't happened. I think 2018, you're going to start seeing some changes happening in 2018. Shouts out to Perry for the donation. Super Chat is wide open, guys. We work very hard on this platform to try to get the best of the best, get y'all guys up to date with everything underneath the sun when it comes down to technology. So don't forget to go on and hit that super chat. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Perry. All right. So right now, this after the iPhone this weekend that is dominating all the web right now. iPhone. So for the next 2 months, all we go hear is about iPhone. Then we go get into CES. And now we're getting into totally different aspect. Things reset, in my opinion. Now we're getting into a lot of newer devices. Actually may be fun for y'all because I mean more things to play around with, tinker around with. I don't know, more themes, more rhyming, more of this, more of that. What y'all think going into 2018 gonna be the biggest challenge for you guys besides the price of these damn phones, by the way?
I think the changes that Google make, they're kind of unpredictable. You'll never know how long we can do this. I mean, pretty much Google's kind of said indirectly that they're going to support the theming platform, but the biggest thing for me is not so much the devices, it's the code that Google changes every update, you know? So what I'm looking at basically is, you know, like the Pixel line is basically what I work on now because Nexus is gone. So I'm always looking at the open source code. So, you know, like, I don't know. I think that Google has shown that they're committed to supporting theming, which is good. So I'm kind of optimistic about the future.
Right.
I don't know about you, Nick.
When I actually looked at the code, when Sony pushed OMS, originally they wanted to lock it down like what normal OEMs would do, so that you know only system-side themes would be gone through, right? And I was actually surprised that Google you know, kind of repurposed or like, you know, allowed our overlays to be installed and enabled on the device rather than like going with Sony's side. So I'm pretty sure they're all looking like, you know, the Pixel, you know, they're keeping some of the code of OMS inside, and they're also, you know, adapting things like, you know, changing wallpapers would change the theme of the app, right? So I think they're starting to like have this small theming idea in their minds, but you know, once, you know, 2018 hits, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know, OEMs would catch wind on like what Google has done, and then they would actually enforce it so that not everyone can install overlays. Because, you know, when I went to that meetup, when I went to a meetup like a few weeks ago, one of the developers spoke to me, and they were actually worried when I was giving the talk, and they said, so does that mean that my theme of my app can be changed? And, you know, developers get worried that if, you know, their app looks different from what they're supporting, but they end up having to support that change. So I can see how like developers will be against this, but the whole idea of, you know, if Google does it, and OMS is, you know, an open API one day, I'm pretty sure that most OEMs would have to follow, because, you know, there's a certain like compatibility.
Hey, look, I
Compatibility.
a tongue twister. Trust me, I get it wrong all the time.
Yeah. So if this code suddenly goes back into CTS, I'm pretty sure most of the developers who work in different OEMs would have to like keep it the same, and we can actually leverage off that so that we can get our themes all working for 2018. But if they're all going the Razor route, you know, we can't really argue with that, because, you know, right now Google isn't using like OMS to its full potential.
Right. Well, you know what? I'm looking at the stream, and Cafe Enterprise, he's in the stream. He makes a good comment. We had a smartphone that was released this year. It was a debacle. You got y'all, the fall of Android, the co-founder of Android, come out with a device. It's called the Essential Phone, right? Mm-hmm. And the Essential Phone came out as more of a disaster. It didn't come out on time. He promised this and promised this. Bam, now we got it. Well, what happened with it? It's supposed to be stock Android. It was buggy. It was laggy. It was slow. Apps, I mean, it was crashing. What the hell happened to the code on the Essential Phone?
You know, okay, so I actually bought an Essential Phone. But the only reason I would ever get an Essential Phone is because it dropped in price, like $200 US.
Yeah.
But other than that, you know, it's really kind of like the kernel source is taking so long to release. So like ROMs are like really like, you know, there's no ROMs. And I don't even know if there's root or, you know, recovery on it. But the whole idea of like Andy Rubin, you know, starting up this small little company that is now worth a couple $2 billion. I like the phone design. It's just that the whole software experience, other than the camera, I guess it's okay. It's just that they had to like make some like app changing, like you know how there's like a camera notch at the top, right? So they had to have that like framework like change that automatically adapts the app. So I feel like, you know, not only did they modify the framework in, you know, more than a couple of lines, but like they also had to work with a lot of companies to, app companies or app developers to get it supported. So essentially, it's buggy. And you know, the camera, I mean, when they first started, you couldn't even like switch to the mono camera without it lagging for like maybe 5 seconds, right? So, you know, I guess they're working it out, because I did like hear from my friend that they got an OTA update recently, which made it faster. But, you know, it's a new kind of like, it's Andy Rubin's kind of brave decision, because he's using 2 different cameras. One of them is a monochrome camera, so usually like you don't really have anything to base it off, right? Like, you know, Samsung doesn't have like a monochrome camera to get more detail. So I guess, you know, it's a give or take, because, you know, it's a new concept.
Serge, he's like, I don't know anything about it.
No idea.
So one of the biggest, some of the questions, Dex73, I don't know, I don't want to butcher your name. He said, what are y'all daily drivers?
Okay.
Nick?
Your daily driver?
Okay, so right now when I wait for my Pixel 2 XL to come and my Essential phone to come, I'm using a Pixel XL. But before that, I was using a Galaxy S8. I had two Galaxy S8 Pluses. One of them was a 6 GB variant, and one of them was the 4 GB variant. Like, I ended up using the Snapdragon variant, which was 4 gigs originally. I mean, I got off Samsung after 2 months. So, you know, I got the first Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus for 2 months. I sold it, then I got another one after like maybe a month later, because you know, it's a love and hate relationship. You just love the camera, but the software is just really bad, right? But the camera is really good. So right now, I'm arguing between the OnePlus 5 and my Pixel XL.
So you got the original OG style Pixel from 2016. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Serge, what you got? What device you rolling with right now?
Yeah, I have an XL2, like, you know, the new Pixel 2, but I use the 6P still because, I mean, I'm long story short, the package is not where I am.
Yeah.
I'm okay with using, like, you know, a device until I get bored and tired of it. You know, I do a lot of testing on my daily driver, obviously, you know. Some people use 2 or 3 phones. I'm one of those guys that I'm going to roll with it. I'm going to test on my device running right now. And if it doesn't work, I better fix it. Otherwise, I'm screwed, you know. I'm one of those guys. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
hold on. I just wanted to answer this live chat guy. He said, Art Dog, he said, S8 has bad software. It doesn't have bad software. The quality of the software is really good. It's really heavy. So after a while, it'll start lagging. And, you know, there's actually, on the Snapdragon variant, there's a auto reboot function for every week. And I'm like, well, if you created a software that's really stable, you don't have to reboot every week. Like sometimes my OnePlus 5, I haven't rebooted it for a whole month and it's still running really well. So, you know, Samsung, I mean, it depends what you're looking for. If you just wanted like a fast phone, you get the Pixel. If you wanted something that has like the camera, you get the Samsung.
Well, you think the reason why Samsung devices are like that is because they give you everything. I mean, you got everything, all the software tweaks that you want or don't want, right? I mean, you got edge panels, you got, and then with the Galaxy Note 8, I mean, you get that, you know, all the pin functionality and stuff like that. So I think that's what happened with Samsung. You know, Samsung try to give you everything, and by giving you everything, if you look at what's running in the background, oh my God, you know, if you go to developers options and look at memory management, just look at everything that's running in the background. Woo, they need 8 gigs around.
Exactly. I remember when I cleared the Dalvik cache on my S8, and it was saying that it needed to optimize 365 apps, and I'm like, I just factory reset this. Why do I need to optimize all those apps? You know?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you what. I'll tell you. You know what? And now that the Samsung has rolled out Dex, which look, on this YouTube channel, I have praised Samsung for giving you everything, right? I mean, you got Dex. Dex, once you plug it up, you get almost a full-fledged PC, kind of like, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, TouchWiz is TouchWiz. Now, Samsung has called this rhyme Experience UX, right? But if you go into your settings, it will say TouchWiz on it. I don't know if anybody ever saw that, but it does say TouchWiz in the settings.
Yeah, their launcher is still called TouchWiz Launcher, and
yeah, it's still called TouchWiz Launcher, right?
Yeah, so it's really just like a small rebrand, but it's not doing anything. It's still really laggy and slow, and people keep fighting against it. Like people just like they're calling us fanboys because we've you know, we're Nexus fanboys, right? But like there's really, like when you just talk to one of those Samsung fanboys, they're just like they're completely blinded by the software lag and the potential, right? Like our app, we actually like use up the CPU and memory of your device because, you know, we're compiling on the device. So we actually know the speed of, you know, the device after like a long period of time. And those guys are just like, yeah, this app launches really fast. Oh yeah, it's the fastest phone ever. And then they just like end up with like, you know, the slowest thing. Like they don't mind the scrolling, but they mind the launching. But they'll always like put it in your face and say, yo, the launcher is so fast because it launches my app so quickly. That's why Samsung is good, you know?
Same thing for people on all like platforms. Like even Nexus people will say that too. I mean, but with Samsung, it's apparent, you know, more apparent.
You know what? It's so funny that I do a lot of live streams. And I get a lot of people on here from, actually I had a lot of Apple people on there yesterday. And I get people on here and we talk about, but you know, you have this division between Samsung, and they got fanboys all over the place. You got Samsung, the Samsung Knights, which I get those folks on there a lot. Then you have, you know, stock Android people that just love the fluidity of the way Android is intended to be, right? Then you have those that just trolls, right? They just say, you're a fanboy. I got a Motorola Z2 Play or something, and it's the best thing since sliced bread, and you know, but you know, especially me as a tech reviewer, I get phones. I got to review these phones. So now, after I throw out a video, if I say, okay, I love the Note 8, right? Then all of a sudden people will say, but this piece of junk is shitty and all this. I'm like, cool, you know. But it's the YouTube world is very weird. But I do understand that when we talk about devices and development and theming and rhyming and stuff like that, I don't think the average consumer, they you know, especially if any average consumer is watching this YouTube video right now, they're like, this scratching their head like, the hell these people talking about? I just want a phone. What the hell these people talking about? Can I just go to AT&T and buy a phone? Well, I ain't worried about no this, that, and the other. I mean, bad enough we got to pay $1,000 for a phone. And now we're talking about rhyming and theming. And so it's more of more geeky people that does this type of stuff. You know, you think by any chance any day that the average consumer, because y'all do have apps in the App Store, I've seen that, right? The average consumer one day could just get a phone, just grab an app and just download your stuff and it just works.
Never. I don't think that'll ever happen. There's too much money to be made. So like, you know, you'll see, obviously they're going to make things limited. So like in the future, privileges we have now are going to be gone. Like, you know, there's a market out there for monetizing, you know, commodities that we right now take for granted. Like, you know, I don't know. You can think of 1,000 examples, but like, for example, the theming stuff we do, you know, pretty soon, who knows? Like, you know, there's always that market for monetizing the commodities we already have. And I just don't think that you'll ever be able to get a phone and have everything just do what you want it to do anymore. I think that used to exist a long time ago. Like, you know, when the first Droid came out, like you could do anything on that device, you know, like literally anything. And so I think it's going the opposite way. I think that people are looking forward to something that used to exist, but doesn't anymore.
Yeah. Like, you know, we gonna take away the headphone jack. We gotta do this. we not gonna give you.
Drives me nuts. I wear my headphones all the time. Now I can't. I'm gonna buy new ones and yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
But Apple said you don't need it. See, Apple said it. Apple said you don't need a headphone jack. Apple said you don't need this. You don't need that. You don't need wireless charger, but they bought it anyway.
You don't need your fingerprint, right, on the iPhone 10.
That's right. That's right.
If I had a twin, yo, he's gonna be like, oh, let's both register our password by looking at our phone. Like, you know, when you died, like your twin brother will unlock your phone and see what you've been doing. You know, that's kind of sucky.
Now they're buying it.
Yeah, I'm not buying into it, and I'm not buying it, Serge.
Oh man, I guarantee you, at some point in life, Nick will have that phone.
Give me 2 months.
So wait, so let me ask you this question. A lot of people that they got this new I call it the iPhone 10 beta because that's how it is. I mean, people complaining about it, saying that the notch and stuff. I made this comment in one of our Telegram groups, and we talked about this. I think that Apple's going to take away the notch next year. I think we're not going to have a notch next year, but they're going to piss a lot of developers off because, boy, they making developing apps for that notch, and Apple come along and say, you know what? Nah, we're going to do like a Central phone. We got the Cyclops eyes, right? Woo!
I mean, that notch has an API that's pretty good, and the scroll wheel, like, kind of, I guess you can say it looks okay because it scrolls around the notch, right? But you know, Apple knows and is pretty used to, you know, getting apps like whatever they're gonna release, even though if they piss off developers, you know, people are still gonna buy, you know, the phone. So they're okay with it, you know. If there's no notch, okay, well, screw the developers. They'll have to adapt next year, you know. And with the whole idea of like iOS being so unfragmented, you know, everything would be guaranteed to work on the new iOS version within like maybe a couple of months, unlike Android, right? So like if you're working for a bank, your bank app should work like immediately for, you know, the iPhone 10 within maybe the first 4 months. But like right now, my OnePlus 5 and my Pixel, we still have KitKat UI designs in our bank app, which kind of sucks, you know?
Yeah, and one of the things that I was thinking that you know, these OEMs like Apple and Samsung and OnePlus, we hearing that OnePlus about to release the OnePlus 5T. We hearing that, you know, do they actually talk to you guys before they come up with these design changes and all this stuff? They don't. I mean, do they even communicate with you guys? They say, you know what, like WWDC, right? But WWDC, they talk about the new operating system and everything. And I mean, at least Apple give you a little heads up before they release a phone 2 months in advance, right? I mean, that's I don't know, man.
Not directly, definitely not directly, but you know.
I guess you can think of iPhone as like, because there's no alternative to an iPhone. Like if you're going iOS, you got Apple, right? So everyone is trying to be the first leak for the Apple phones. But when it comes to like OnePlus, they're not really like creating something like an open API that, like, you know, makes banking easier, or, you know, like makes FBM solutions for businesses better, like unlike Samsung, right? So what they're usually working off is like making your phone look cooler, you know, making it adapt more with like machine learning, or, you know, adapting, yeah, as I said earlier, like adapting what Google, you know, added, right? So they're not really implementing something special, like really good hardware for a really low price, right? But like, you know, if Google releases like the APIs for like Google Assistant, people would go crazy. It's like your app can start using Google Assistant APIs, but like with OnePlus, they're gonna be stuck on the OnePlus ecosystem if they do that, you know? So it's kind of like a fragmented, you know, system again, because if Google's not doing it and it's not merging it, then you're not gonna benefit out of it, right? So you should.
But the biggest question is, what is Google doing at this point, right? We got the Pixel 2 XL. You squeeze the phone to get to your Google Assistant. You could say the hotkey to get to the Google Assistant. You could press the home button to get to the Google Assistant. And oh, by the way, we got Alexa. We got all these different, you know, I mean, Samsung got Bixby. What the hell going on with all this stuff, man? I mean, we got like, what, 5 different assistants right now that's all bundled up. I mean, don't HTC have like 4 assistants on the device right now?
Cortana exists. I mean,
Cortana. I mean, what is the deal? I mean, you gonna say the hotkey, you gonna say hi Bixby, hi Google, you gonna say hi this, hi that, and you got all the assistants basically doing the same thing. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, it confused me. Don't get me wrong. I like the concept of a lot of things, but it just confused me when you got all these assistants on the phone. You squeeze the phone, you get to the Google Assistant. You can say the hot word, you can get to the Google Assistant. You can press the button to get to the Google Assistant. Now you can say, hello, Alexa, that you got Cortana, you got all. I mean, God, this is, I'll tell you what.
Hey, can I tell you a funny story? My Alexa just went off because you said that. I swear to God, I'm not kidding.
I mean, I don't understand that. I see people in the comments, how do I let my girlfriend knows? Oh Lord, see, we got mods in the building. You know, usually when we do these streams like that, we always get some stupid people that want their 5 minutes of fame. So let's go on and get rid of one person right quick. See, on this YouTube channel, we don't allow people to be coming in. You know, it's crazy. People got these Twitter fingers. Always put their stupid stuff in there. But yeah, so at the end of the day, y'all guys are doing a great job. Y'all doing an awesome job. People don't understand how much work you got. I mean, I can imagine endless days of y'all like scratch your head like, okay, we got new phones coming out, new overlays, lockdown APIs. I can imagine, you know what I'm saying? So just like how us YouTubers, I can imagine what y'all go through. Then y'all got this large platform on Telegram. Then y'all on Google Plus, and then y'all trying to do the right thing by, you know, making sure that devices get supported and doing all this stuff. And people just need to calm down sometimes and think about that. If you got a 2013 phone that's running I don't know, not even a Snapdragon. I don't even think Snapdragon was around back then. But you know, S4 Pro or S2, or I don't know whatever they was naming those processors back then, with 256 megabytes of RAM. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things that people just need to understand that technology has moved forward. And unfortunately, even though these prices are high with these devices, I've been saying this countless of times, I don't think the prices are going down. Pixel come out with that high price last year, and it became a revolution. And now we got Apple that's selling 12 million phones in 1 week. So at $1,000 price point, this is it, guys. This is the high apocalypse. You go into your pockets, and it's got to be very deep if you want to get into 2018 flagships or 2018. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean, so I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, gee whiz, can we? What happened to the $250 phone? Can I get a phone for $299? You know what's so funny? The $299 phones, they give you the headphone jack. They give you 4,000 milliamp batteries. They give you at least a 600 series processor, right? And they give you a 1080p screen. Perfect device, right?
The problem is, like, you have OnePlus, they're making cheap device, like, you know, relatively cheap devices. There's people like me, I can only use Verizon, so I can't use OnePlus, you know, and so that drives me nuts because I would totally pay for that phone. I mean, I've had no problems with the prices. Their specs are great, but I can't use the device. It really sucks for me. I mean, like, you know, I would love to support them because they're community friendly now for the most part, and, like, you know, they're just like a up and coming company. You want to support, you know, startups like they are, and like it sucks because, like, you know, they don't support Verizon, and, like, you know, there's really no communication on, you know, how or what happened there. But I mean, yeah, so that's the other aspect.
But most of your devices are all GSM. You know, that's the whole thing. I mean, like for me, with be doing YouTube, I mean, I have to buy a lot of overseas phones and international devices. I mean, most of all of them are GSM. And so I can't use Verizon at all. I definitely can't use Sprint. So I had to be AT&T or T-Mobile. And oh my God, T-Mobile is so friendly. Just bring your device. I mean, just put your SIM card in it. You know, that's how T-Mobile is. I mean, T-Mobile, it don't matter if it's GSM. Just put a T-Mobile SIM in it, and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah, if I didn't have Verizon, I would totally go to T-Mobile, no doubt. Because the next best, like, you know, sounding company, like, you know, they're not, you know, looking after monopoly like AT&T and Verizon, and, like, you know, plus their CEO is just hilarious.
Oh God, yeah. I follow him on Twitter, and I mean, he do live streams. He'd be all over the place. He'd be doing live streams and stuff.
I love it, and he's bold.
Yeah, the good thing about it is you could actually, you know, hit him up on Twitter and he answer you back, and then he send a support team to answer you back. That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that guy. I mean, he you know what? He's done a lot of stuff with T-Mobile that changed the industry. He came out cussing them out, flying airplanes over AT&T and all kinds of stuff. He show up at AT&T parties and everything else. Yeah.
You basically got Verizon to re-add unlimited data too. But you know, that's amazing because Verizon was so against that re-adding that back, their unlimited plan. But without T-Mobile, I don't think that would have happened without that CEO, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's awesome. I see a lot of people putting in the stream that, let's see, at OnePlus for the win. Let's see, Windows who? Yeah, listen, I know Windows is dead. You know, we've been talking about this on this YouTube channel for about a year. People have been crying about, what happened to the Surface phone? Why? And they've been crying about a Surface phone for 2 years, and it never happened. But why? And I said to myself, man, what's wrong with y'all, man? I mean, there's no developers over there. I mean, even if they did make a Surface phone, so what are the apps?
Yeah.
I mean, what you gonna do? What play? I mean, third-party apps. I mean, you gonna just do what? Word, PowerPoint, Excel, whatever. I mean, you can do that on Android and iOS.
That's why they're actually all here right now, because I feel like Microsoft realized they're not doing the right thing by, like, you know, segregating that community again, you know, in three ways, right? So, you know, even BlackBerry is going to Android, right? So when they're you know, when everything is like colliding together, like App Store and Android, Google Play, it's so much more easier. Like, people can just scan like QR code on like those ads and stuff. It's so much more easier. And, like, you know, when I heard BlackBerry BBOS 10 killed off WhatsApp, and a bunch of people sold their phones in like Hong Kong for a different phone, it's just like it's so efficient, you know. Like, we should just have Android for like easier, like you know, you can port it up easier. And you know, Microsoft Store, I don't even know if there's like a Telegram client, official Telegram client, actually. Terrible. Like, I think they were featuring some other guys like Telegram implementation, but there's not like a real official one. I don't know.
And I tell you what, the stream, I kid y'all not. I know that y'all first time on my stream, but see the people in the stream that comment, they are brutal. They say, Cafe said BlackBerry. We talking BlackBerry. Now BlackBerry just come out with a new phone, so they got rid of the keyboard and they coming out with something that everybody might like. I don't know. Let's see. Cafe also said T-Mobile service inside a building is dead. Yeah, we do have problems. T-Mobile is fixing that with some of their spectrum to try to work inside a building. So I think they're working on that. Let's see. And everybody said T-Mobile. T-Mobile ain't dead, man. I like T-Mobile. Let's see. All right, so BlackBerry Motion for the win. And kind of BlackBerry with TCL kind of secretly kind of putting that device out. So I don't know. We got to see what that's all about. Let's see. Shouts out to Ray2. He said phone of the year. BlackBerry Motion, he said, ha, 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 ha. Shout out to Scrumptious. She's in the building. Will is in the building. I see all y'all guys in the building. I got the whole gang in the building. Yes. So at the end of the day, I really do appreciate that y'all guys was able to come out to put y'all talk about your platform and everything. You got any last words before we get on out of here?
No, thank you for having us on. It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes. You know what? I tell you what, believe me, it's my honor, because at the end of the day, we need developers. We need you guys. We need y'all platform to make our devices better. And it is great that y'all is around and working very hard. So I applaud you, definitely applaud you for working hard on your platform and working together as a team to work. Now, anybody that want to get in contact with you guys through social media, y'all want to put y'all social media stuff out there real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Our Telegram is public in the app. When you open the app, we have everything's in the app. You can support us, like, you know, through that. You can contact us. Everything's there. So, I mean,
okay.
Yep.
That'll work. So y'all the app in the app store, just download the app, and the community and everything is in it's in the app and everything. So be sure to go to.
We're on Google Plus, which is our main platform. So
right. You know what? Believe it or not, I actually got your Google Plus pulled up. I want to show everybody your Google Plus for a second, and let everybody know that you can go to their Google Plus here. There it is. Yep, follow them on Google Plus and all your questions you may have. And I see y'all guys putting up some updates coming up. Plug-in version 11. I see somebody putting some stuff up here. And so, yeah, everything y'all need to know is you're more than welcome to go on there and check them out. Check them out. Look at that.
And if you have a theme or something you're making, like go to Google Plus and we'll promote it for you. We'll help you out. You know, we're not.
That'll work. That'll work. That'll work. And I see some people got Swift themes and XDA type stuff up in here. So check it out, ladies and gentlemen. You're more than welcome to check them out on Google Plus. You can download the app and go to their Telegram group, which is massive, very massive group. Y'all growing by the thousands every day, by the way. When I went on there, I go on there because I work at YouTube. I'm on YouTube every day, all day. But when I do get a chance to settle down, I go on your app. I'm looking at the Telegram group. I'm like, this like yesterday, y'all was at this number, and I'm looking like, wow, and I just see the hundreds and hundreds of comments, and man, so hats out to y'all. That is an active community, by the way. If y'all definitely want to get, y'all have any questions, please go to the Telegram group. They are good to go. All right, I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank y'all guys for coming out. I really do appreciate that, and I want to appreciate everybody that came onto the stream. Thank y'all very much. Don't forget to follow me right here on this YouTube channel. Go and hit the subscribe button if you haven't hit it. Also, don't forget about this Monday. I got Monday Morning Hangover coming up this Monday morning, so we can have us some fun. And don't forget about Tuesday. I'm live on the Chad Christian Show. That we do many giveaways on that show, and y'all guys know that Wine Wednesday is coming up, and so I'm on the web every day. I do 4 shows a week. Yeah, I do 4 shows a week, and I drop a video, and so my life is on the internet.
Same as us. Same as us.
Right.
All right, guys. So we will see y'all Monday. Thank y'all very much. Later. Peace out, peoples.